Perhaps the bloodiest day in Kansas history came 156 years ago this month when William Clark Quantrill led more than 400 pro-slavery guerrillas in a surprise attack on the city of Lawrence, where they killed more than 150 people. This is Tim Rencher, the history guy for CJ Online, talking about Quantrill's Raid, which took place on August 21st, 1863. That massacre was led by Quantrill, shown here, who had taught school at Lawrence before the Civil War. During the war, he was commissioned as a captain under the Confederate Partisan Ranger Act and led a band of guerrillas known as Quantrill's Raiders. Quantrill chose to attack Lawrence because it was the base of operations for anti-slavery efforts in the area, including being the home of U.S. Senator and Union Brigadier General Jim Lane, shown here. Lane escaped the raiders by fleeing into a cornfield wearing his nightshirt. This illustration, provided by the Kansas State Historical Society, shows the raiders riding toward Lawrence, where they arrived about 5 a.m. Quantrill's raiders murdered both boys and men, including these four who were shot down together. Women and girls were spared. The raiders also looted stores and burned down buildings, staying in Lawrence about 4 hours before riding off. One, Larkin Skaggs, went off on his own and was caught and lynched by Lawrence residents the next day. Quantrill was mortally wounded by Union troops in Kentucky in May 1865, soon after the war ended. The surviving raiders included brothers Frank and Jesse James, with Jesse being shown here, who later went on to become famous outlaws. This memorial to victims of Quantrill's Raid was put up in 1895 in Lawrence's Oak Hill Cemetery. This is Tim Rencher, the history guy for CJ Online.